Three, two,
Awesome
one should be
intro.
coming up.
It's coming and it's here and it's live. And I'm coughing in the beginning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, uh, pimps, freaks, scallywags, everybody, shackards, drunkards, anybody with a phone. Dude under the bridge. This is Dude with the Beard coming at you with the next episode of the Bold Prediction Sports Media Podcast. And as always, as tradition, I'm with Mr. KC from the 813. And we about to talk about all your football needs for the week. Mr. KC, what's going on, my man?
Oh, just another day out here in sunny paradise in Florida, enjoying this nice winter weather that's finally arrived.
That winter heat, huh?
Yeah, that winter heat. Excited about all these wild football games we had last week. A lot of close finishes. We had a we had a record 5 games decided by a field goal.
Oh yeah, a lot of those games was closer than expected, but a lot of them worked out exactly like how I thought they would. So not too mad about it. A couple of things didn't work the way I thought it would, but for the most part, right on the money.
Yeah, it was a barely positive week for me, but I still held on. There's a couple games that really just some unexpected losses, like the Ravens versus the Browns. I truly didn't see that one coming. And then the Bengals losing to the Broncos, or excuse me, the Bills. The
Oh,
Bills losing to the Broncos.
yeah, yeah. If it was only somebody who tell you not to pick those bills, man. Goodness
Mm,
gracious. Well,
I
hey,
think you've heard it
like I
once or
said, it was
twice.
the annual because I pretty much won that pick in spirit because at the end of the day, who cares? Most of these teams aren't going to make the playoffs, in my opinion. So it's just furthering the notion that the Bills definitely won't be there. So I'm happy about that in all reality.
Yeah, my favorite part is how excited Broncos fans are about beating the Bills and talking about how they're improving and getting better. And they're still in fourth place in the AFC West, still not in the playoffs, still with a losing record, and just so much, mm, so much hype,
Exactly.
so much excitement. It gets you going, really.
Right. Got their blood all boiled up and they ain't had nowhere but back home. Because, like we've been saying, or at least I've been saying all season, the best thing that happened to Denver is Sierra. Shout out to her.
Mm, right. That's pretty factual at this point.
Yeah. But no, I'm not mad about the win though. Like I said, I just knew Josh Allen don't have it enough to where they was gonna lose that game. But you'll never see me pick the Broncos win. That's why I said I don't care. You'll never see it happen. I'm sticking with my guns. If they ain't losing, I don't care. It's a tie maybe. But either way, goodness
Yeah,
gracious.
and it was really wild that the Bills lost that game, especially on just some dumb plays too. I mean, the 12th man on the field on special teams, that doesn't make any kind
Man,
of sense at all. Like,
inexcusable. It's
talk,
inexcusable.
yeah, there's only 11 guys with that job title. I don't understand how you get 12 of them on the field. It doesn't make sense.
Oh
And then it seemed like
no,
kind
it
of a
doesn't.
giveaway of a pass interference call. Yeah, when Russell Wilson threw that arm punt, and they call that pass interference, and I just thought it was a kind of a wild, wild call in my opinion.
Standard Bills play, in my opinion. It's too trash to be definitive. That's why you got to go ahead and call it. They don't play clean games. You know
True, true, absolutely true.
that.
But let's hop into week 11 action. We got Kansas City Chiefs are back in action, so that's always nice. They had a
Yes,
bye
sir.
week this week along with Eagles, Dolphins, and Rams. So it's nice to see these a lot of heavy hitters back in action. And the wildest part is
Yes,
the
sir.
Chiefs actually improved on the bye week with all the other teams lose with the Chargers losing. It was a win for the bye week.
Oh yeah, you took the
How
words
often
right
do
out of
you
my
get to
mouth.
say
I
something
literally
ridiculous like that?
no, not often, because I was literally going to say it before you did. Because everybody who were in, I guess you could even say first place contention lost. Like, you know what I'm saying? And those few losses, besides the
Yeah.
Bills pick, the only few losses I had picked up that week. Because like you and me said, we was both in on the Ravens. Um, we was both in on who else lost? Who's the other team? I keep thinking about these terrible Bills.
Well, I think you might have had the Jags when I had the Niners.
Yeah, the
I
Jags.
think,
Yes, sir. Yeah, yeah. Wasn't expecting the Jags to lose, but then again, boom, wham, there it is. So definitely an
yeah,
interesting
Brock.
weekend to say the least.
Oh, Brock Purdy looking a little more Brock Purdy-ish. He had him a little
Yawn.
300 yard, 3 touchdown game. 140
Second best
something.
game of his whole career.
Man, he was balling out. He needed it. He needed it to get back on path.
Yeah,
He was
when you
it was getting
skin.
rough. Yeah. And the nice thing is he got hit or pressured on like 50% of his dropbacks. So it was pretty nice to see him still put up numbers while getting pressured by the Jags defense.
True, I would say that, but I mean, he still didn't show me too much. I mean, it's Brock Purdy, like I said. I'm still not a believer. I probably will never be because it's not going to go anywhere. Uh, anyway, he'll be back to pumpkin status real soon. Like I said, them
Yeah.
L's wasn't accidental. It wasn't happenstance. Like this was on the forecast. I kept telling people it was coming. They're like, it's in the horizon. I should be a weatherman because I'm telling you that storm was coming. Just same thing, same storm that came for the Bills, the same one that's still slightly over the Bengals. Same storm.
Yeah. It feels like it. I mean, there was no reason the Bengals lost to the Texans either. And what's wild is, we're not talking about it, but the Texans are 5-4, and so are the
Dude,
Bengals. You know,
remember at the beginning of the year, I said the Texans could be a playoff team. People they want to scoff at. I think you was on that train too a little bit. We have to go back and see, but dude, I was like they got so much upside, and you got the right quarterback who's really now he's proven it. Like I've been saying, who should have been the number one pick. Maybe if you would have picked C.J. Stroud, Carolina would be better off. But hey, you got your guy.
mm,
Be happy with it.
yeah, the Ohio State finally coming through with a quarterback looking elite, looking
Mm-hmm.
all time rookie performances and whatnot. Those are the kind of
Yeah,
things
rookie
you
of the
like to
year.
hear.
Like I said, previous Ohio State quarterbacks, like I said, our school we was just always before our time. Like I said, if the NFL would have adjusted years ago, Braxton Miller and all the other quarterbacks we would have had, Terrell Pryor, would have been dogging in the league. Because now that's all the kind of play we see. They're finally giving the mobile quarterbacks a chance, especially who can throw and stuff. If they would have done it 15 years ago, we would have probably had about four quarterbacks here who would have been at least all pro level. I wouldn't say Hall of Fame because we're just working on what ifs. But I'm just glad to see the evolution of the league and the evolution of the mindset of these coaches to let these kids do what they do. Like you can't expect a kid their whole life playing a certain way, certain way. You can only expect certain conformity. That's why Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are way above the curve because Andy Reid's like, look, we're gonna do what he's good at. We're not gonna make him do what I think he can do. We're gonna do what he can do, and we're gonna win games and win championships.
Right. True. Well, let's hop into week 11 action. Let's get these picks in for these folks. Let's get everyone excited. Let's get these dollar bills coming in. Let's see what's happening. On the prime time Jeff Bezos, what's usually a terrible game is actually
Mhm.
a good game this week.
It
We have
is.
the Bengals.
It's the decent one.
Bengals playing the Ravens.
And if you will regale me for just a moment, well, I'll regale you with a story here from preseason and preseason picks. I picked Cincinnati not to make the playoffs, and I said that most of these wins at the most of these games at the end of the season was really going to determine and put the icing on the cake for them. This game here is the ultimate point for them this season. If you lose this game to Baltimore, kiss your playoff aspirations goodbye. It's just no turning around from that at this point. Because I believe after that, how many divisions losses would they have had now? Like two or three? Didn't they lose to everybody? Didn't Cleveland beat them too?
I I think Cleveland did too. Yeah, it's been
So
the Steelers might have like it's just been
that's what
everybody.
I'm saying.
Who
That's what.
who
Ooh.
hasn't beat the Cincinnati Bengals this year? Like the, the list is about equal almost. Where they lose this week, the list is equal. Like
It's equal.
they're starting. They're right at 500, and I would have to kind of agree with your playoff take. Going into week 12, 500, you're a couple games back. Like you're starting to, what you got, where are you making up this ground at? You start looking at a
Thank you.
calendar, and you're going to have to really start winning games if you're Cincinnati. This is a must win game. I call that a must win game for Seattle last week, because they were in a similar position. It was like you're playing a team you need to be able to beat, which isn't quite equal
Mhm.
to this, but you
Right.
really need to be able to beat them. And if you're gonna make the playoffs, you're gonna need this on your record.
You gotta have it. It's a gotta have game, and I just don't. As tradition, the Bengals are gonna bingo. I just don't think they got it. Lamar and them, they they just lost a heartbreaker to the Browns, and I know Lamar's mad because you lost to the worst trade in NFL history, a dude who's not even playing next week. Another point on the Deshaun Watson trade thing. I think I won. Side note, Mr. Casey, I think that battle's won. I think we can cast
Yeah.
the votes, and now we can finally thoroughly agree that Deshaun Watson was the worst trade.
Well, the wildest part about it is to me is Cleveland Browns had Dobbs, and they traded him away for a fifth round pick. And they traded a couple first rounds for Watson and gave him a couple 100 million guaranteed, no matter what, no matter what
200.
happens.
Good night.
Sheesh. And
Fully guaranteed too.
unless Russell Wilson just magically turns it around a little more, he's kind of trying to definitely break away from the argument, and yeah, he's not worth the money yet still, but at least
No,
he's not Deshaun
at
Watson.
least he's playing.
Yeah, he's playing. He's that's a lot more for the money than not playing.
and and he brought Sierra to Denver. You gotta give him some points for
Yeah. Yeah, but in this game, I think
that.
I'm going Baltimore for this game. Um, Another fun fact is Joe Burrows is 0-4 in primetime road games. Something to keep an eye on. Cincinnati Bengals are 0-14 since 2013 on primetime road games. This team
and they
just
want to
cannot
talk.
win.
And they want to talk about my boy Kirk O'Chains in prime times, but they ain't talking about Joe Burrow. Hmm,
Hey, that's why you hear me bringing it up.
my
I like
man.
you. We talk about streaks. We make sure we point them out. Those are those betting trends. I mean, he could break it. He could become 1-4. It's not impossible. But
No, it's
give me
not.
the Ravens. The Ravens also know that they want to make the playoffs, and they have the Steelers right there with them. And you don't want to be
That's what I said. You're only one game ahead, dude. You have to win this. It's not a must win for Baltimore, but it almost feels that way if you think you're going to win the North because my boys are
yeah,
coming. I keep telling people to steal it. They're right there. So, dude, good
and
night.
they'll catch right on up. They keep winning games, so keep an eye out for them. This is a
And this kind
this.
of alludes to. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying this is a good Thursday night game.
Oh, for sure. And this just I was just making one little side note before we move on. It just kind of alludes to what we were talking about with most of our preseason stuff, dude. That how we said that the AFC North was probably going to be the toughest division in football, and it's really
Man,
shaping up to almost be the best, dude. It's
they
good.
could
It's tough.
they could get three teams in the playoffs. It could happen.
Mm, it could happen. We ain't seen it in a while, but it could happen.
Yep. Speaking of the AFC North, that next game on the list, the Sunday 1 o'clock game, 1 o'clock Eastern, is the Steelers going into Cleveland to play the Browns.
And I got the Steelers in this game, obviously. Um, I mean, whether he played or not, I was going to pick the Steelers. I just think, like I said, they're fighting for that number one position. The Steelers are my pick to win the North anyway, and I've had Baltimore at the wild card, so it's just time to start seeing those things shift into that kind of dynamic. Um, oh, man, it's going to be a good game though, because Cleveland's defense is legit. I give them that. That's pretty much the only bright side on the team. I mean, bright spot of the team. Um, but they're not gonna beat Pittsburgh. Kenny P, my boy, they get it done.
Man, now that Deshaun Watson's not playing, I really feel like I want to pick the Browns. But if I've learned anything this season, it's don't pick against these Steelers. So I'm gonna ride
Man,
with you. I think I'm going with the Steelers too. They for no reason have been winning games, outperformed in every game they play in, except for on the scoreboard, and that's the only place that counts.
right. And that's the only place that counts. You said that best that I've heard in weeks. That's just what it is right there.
Mm. Another fun game to look at on the list. We have the Raiders playing the Miami Dolphins.
And I don't care, but I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna pick Miami because, like I said on the show, I will never pick the Raiders again after them last few debacles. And then you win a game that you shouldn't have won when I didn't pick it. No, I'm done. I'm gonna pick Miami and still hope that they lose, but I'm riding with Miami for pick's sake.
Well, that does sound like the resident Raider fan here. It's kind of prediction there. I'm gonna go with the Fins because I'm the resident Dolphin fan. So it's pretty easy for me to pick this game. Tired of this little hype from the Raiders. It's time to go back into irrelevancy. Enjoy the basement of the AFC West. Fins, look, this is
You better
put me
clean
on a
this
little
up, man.
70 point. Yeah, put a 70 pointer on the board for everyone again. Show them you got it. Remind
You
folks.
better because Mr.
Look,
KC's talking about relegating people back to the basement. Lest we not forget that that tuna can is still freshly open. They can go back to the shelf any day.
they truly
Mm.
can. It really is.
Because as much as I like that coach, he still makes some dumb decisions, even though he's better than Brandon Staley any day of the week. But still, though, I look at these kind of things, and uh, I would even say no, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. Jimmy G's not playing. They don't really stand a real shot to win, but I wouldn't be surprised, like I said, if it's closer than what we're thinking. Because Miami, I'm just not a believer. I don't really think they got it. So we'll see.
Look, they've proven they cannot beat a good team, but what they have proven is they can beat bad teams, and that's what they're
They'll
going to
stop
do
them.
this Sunday.
Oh, and that's a fact.
They're gonna put it's gonna be like a 48-point game for them. People would be like, "Oh, the Dolphins, we're back at it."
He's back at it,
All
bro.
right,
Good yeah.
next next on the list we have the Chicago Bears with Justin Fields back playing the Detroit Lions.
And I'm gonna go ahead and just pick Detroit in this game because it seems like if I do, they'll lose. So anytime I've rocked with
Hmm.
Detroit so far as picking them to win, they have lost. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Lions this game because I really want Justin Fields and these Bears to win. Come on, let's do it. But let's go Detroit. Jared Goff.
Yeah, and
Yay.
I think with Justin Fields, it is a much more legitimate possibility. We can actually have a conversation about the Bears winning this game. Now, we're not going to have that conversation because the
Right,
Bears are not going to win, but if we wanted to, we
right.
could.
Yeah, it leaves the door open a little
Yeah,
bit.
and that's just it's tough luck for the Bears. Good luck next year. We,
Really
yeah,
though,
we
we
had high
mean that. Like,
hopes.
good
You
luck
just
next year. Yeah,
disappointed.
like really good luck next year. Good night. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, good luck. We do mean it. It is a well wish.
Right.
And next game on the list, we have the Tennessee Titans facing the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jacksonville wins. Turnaround, bounce back game. Got to get back in position to make sure that the South is secure. You want to be playing for one of those top seeded spots, preferably the second spot if you think you're going to do anything else. Because looking at your record, you already got your third loss. I'm not sure if Kansas City loses again for the rest of the year. So if you really want to stay in that viable spot to at least get 2 or 3 seed, you got to win this game. And this is a game that should be more than capable of putting away. It's a rival for you. Y'all should be able to put these Titans down. I like Will Levis. I like how he's been playing and everything. I think he's got more upside than the dude they drafted last year. Was named Malik Willis, and he's pretty much been the bright spot even over Tannehill. So they got a lot to be happy about
Yeah,
moving forward, maybe. But in this weekend, no, Android 17 is coming, and he knows what he's got to do, especially if he wants to see the King again in the playoffs.
absolutely. I'm right there with you. I mean, the problem with the Titans is they just don't have enough around Will Levis. It's
Right.
become a one man army pretty much with the Tennessee Titans. I mean, you have Henry there, but Will Levis is the
Only so
13th
much.
most hit quarterback in the NFL, and he's played 3 games. Like
And I was just about to say, he just
you
started.
can't have a young quarterback get hit like that. Like that's just not it's not how you want to develop your guy.
Right. You're
So
not
give me the
lying. It's you got to
Jaguars.
give your guy a shot. But yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
we
and I'd
split
like
right
to
in
see it
accordance.
get better.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it get better for Tennessee. It would be better. Could be.
You're not lying. It'd make football better. At least more competition in the South.
Right. Which it definitely needs it. Speaking of competition, there's questionable levels of competition in this next game. It is the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Green Bay Packers.
And honestly, I'm going with Green Bay because I'm done picking these Chargers too. like
Mm,
like I said last week, I said Justin Herbert had to play up to his billing, and what did he do? Nothing, nothing, nothing at all.
uh,
I don't even think there's nothing left to talk about. I mean, if he wasn't already a Charger, I'd call him Philip Rivers or something like that. But Philip Rivers is playing in Buffalo, and we all know it. So, yeah, I don't. These Chargers are done too. Yeah. Good night. I'm going and reluctantly
yeah,
going
to
with Green Bay.
me, I'm going I'm going Chargers. I'm not a Green Bay
Ooh,
believer. I was the first and probably only person on the Jordan Love is a bust, and y'all don't want to admit it bandwagon. And he's every week we've proven me a little bit more right and right, and I'm just hoping we can continue that tradition.
man, for your sake, I hope so too. But at the end of the day, he's only got one less win than Justin Herbert, and I can't say Justin Herbert's too much better. So there's that.
I mean, there's arguments there. There's definitely arguments for that sake. Next game on the list. This is surprisingly, this is an underrated game. It's going to be the Arizona Cardinals playing the Houston Texans.
uh, I don't think it's underrated. I think Arizona they got a little spark because Kyler was back, but it's still gonna be the same cards. The Texans are already hot. He's gonna have to play the hottest quarterback in the NFL right now. Um, Stroud in the Texans. Like I think the world knew where I was going with this one. They were not even a question. And if I'm a smart and a betting man, which I am, I'm pretty sure you're about to double up on that.
Right. I'm actually picking the Cardinals in this game. Kyler Murray is playing for his job. If he does not get them out of a two win deficit or 2-win spot, he needs them to get a draft pick that's not good enough for a quarterback. He needs to desperately get away from it, and he is going to do everything in his ability to get this team right up to 5 or 6 wins for the season. He's going to make it so they're good enough to draft like a defensive end or something, a left tackle maybe, but not a quarterback. He wants to keep his job. He's playing for it. C.J. Stroud has arrived. He's here. We know it, but we got to make way for Kyler Murray.
We don't have to. We've seen everything I believe we needed to see out of Kyler Murray. Like I don't what's left. Like what are we waiting on now? Well, I mean, you know what I mean? Like uh, I, I believe that experiment's long done. He's another fleece agent.
Yeah, he's playing for that contract. He's trying to keep his job while he can.
I don't even think they
Speak.
can get rid of him. Didn't he get an
No, they
extension? That was pretty fat.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I was
yeah.
supposed to say that stuff with that boy. Yeah.
Well, the only way you can get rid of him is if you got like, a great draft pick and you can draft a cheaper quarterback. And I just he's got to avoid that. He's got to dodge that bullet.
Dude, because yeah, he's got a Deshaun Watson deal, dude.
Yeah,
Oh, good night.
pretty much.
You want to talk about shooting yourself in the foot, boy.
Mm.
Mm-mm-mm. Mm.
Speaking of
Anyway,
shooting yourself in the foot, we have the Dallas Cowboys playing the Carolina Panthers.
and dude, I don't know what it is, but it seems like every time I've picked Dallas, it kind of be like I get one, they'll win, miss the next one. Get one, they'll win, miss the next one. I picked them last week. That turned out okay. But is Carolina going to win, Jordan? No, they're not. I'm going with the boys. They've got to win this game. If they lose to Carolina, which they possibly could, because it is the Cowboys. They are known to, for some reason, like this is the game that Dak would just like, oh, there's 4 picks and everybody's fumbled, and then the defense can't stop a cold all of a sudden. And no, but I'm still going with the boys, even though this kind of got upset fever almost written on it for me.
Man, this is the kind of game the Cowboys do get upset with. But there's no way in the God's green earth I'd pick the Panthers over the Cowboys right now.
Right. No, that's just logic right there.
Uh,
You go with, I mean, on every level of the board, they're better. Like I said, if you lose this game, I just don't know how you did it.
yeah, yeah, I'm right there with you. And speaking of another easy lock, we have the Washington or the New York Giants playing the Washington Commanders.
Man, and you said lock, but dude, I don't know. It ain't feeling too lockish no more. I'm still ride with these New York Football Giants. Uh, but their playoff hopes are well dead. It's been there for the last 4 weeks. Maybe now they just get one more win to call it a season. prepared to get you a pick, maybe Marvin Harrison Jr. to go out there and help Vanilla Vic next year or something. Who knows? But you got to be thinking about trying to get one of the top picks at this point if you're the Giants, I would say. So maybe just throw the game. Let's go with the
Yeah,
Commanders. I'm going with the Commanders.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely the Commanders. It's the Commanders by a mile. Uh, I wish all the well to the Giants, but better luck next year, guys. Get a little pat on the
Man,
back.
and less
You tried
injuries, I
hard.
pray. Good night.
Yeah,
Right.
most importantly, jeez, Louise. Let's get into some decent football. We got the Buccaneers playing the San Francisco 49ers in
And
San
this is the
Fran.
one I've been waiting on. Yes, Lord. This is your upset of the week. Tampa Bay is taking out the Niners this weekend. And it's not even an upset, really. It's just it's going to make a lot of people mad. That's why I call it an upset. I just think Tampa Bay is kind of equipped to beat the Niners, especially in this kind of game. You got a struggling-esque Niner team who's coming in versus a Baker Mayfield led team that know they should be a lot better than what they are right now, who are still 4-5 and in the playoff hunt in the South. I think it means more to Tampa Bay because they can get to the playoffs still. Tampa Bay wins this game.
I mean, if Tampa Bay ever wanted to make the playoffs, they'd have to win this game. Look, I'm picking San Fran. That defensive line for San Francisco is murderous, and
It
I
is.
with the Brock Purdy's performance last week has me back on the Brock Purdy train. We're not calling him a bust after the last few weeks. Get me back on the bandwagon. I'm ready to be. Pass me a Kobe jersey while you're at it. You know, I'm going all in.
Good night. At least you pick one great. Uh yeah, Brock Purdy, they're losing. It's, it's in the stars. Let's go Bucks. Brock Purdy. Ha!
It'll be an interesting game. Speaking
Told
of
you it's back to the
interesting
pumpkin
game,
for it.
can we get an upset alert for this one? We have the New York Jets playing the
It's not
Buffalo
an
Bills.
upset. And I've been waiting on this too. It's not an upset. People just gonna be mad. Mainly people in Buffalo because you're gonna lose to the Jets twice in 1 year. This is not an upset alert, Mister King. How could this be an upset alert? The
Because they
Bills
don't,
don't have it.
you know, people aren't picking the Bills or people aren't picking the Jets. Excuse me.
Are you picking the Bills? Because you
No,
got a Bills fever too. Oh,
no, you told me I'm not allowed to do it anymore.
man, please.
When your friend tries to help you avoid self harm, you've got to listen to the advice. You know, they tell you don't hang yourself, don't pick the bills, don't shoot yourself. You know, they say all these kind of things to me, and when they say it,
Which are all equivalent to shooting yourself. If you're picking the Bills, you might as well just put the barrel up to your mouth. Whatever you want to
man,
do. It's good night.
and I was man, it's what Bills fans are going to be upset.
They're already upset. They got an
Who
ass
won?
team, an ass quarterback, an ass coach, and we don't normally curse on this program, folks. I have to say this. Their ass, the whole situation in Buffalo is ass. Like if y'all can't see it by now, and I've only been saying it for 2 years on record, been saying it since I seen the man. Josh Allen does not have it. He's not a top five. He's almost showing that he's not top 10, which I keep saying avidly on this show. So I mean, it.
He's
I'll just wait and be quiet and be right again. Pick Buffalo if y'all want to. That's all I'm gonna say. Pick him if you want to.
he is so barely holding on to that top 10 area. If it's him and Herbert at this point, it's just
Dude,
sad. It is
it's
sad.
like
Like,
they're clinging to. You know what it reminds me of, Mister? You know, in the movies when a dude get they when they get their throat slit and they be trying to pinch the skin together, trying to gasp
oh
for the
no,
last breath. That's Buffalo. Your Super Bowl window slammed shut 2 years ago. Like I don't know what y'all doing now. I keep saying blow it
it
up.
did.
And Justin Herbert, wasn't that my statement at the beginning of the season? Y'all need to blow this thing up. It's what I've been saying it since the beginning, and I'm gonna keep saying it toward the end. They're gonna finally fire Staley, blow this thing up, and then the Chargers one day might be better down the road. But the Buffalo Bills, they're already in the grave. Like I said, they're not making it to the playoffs. They're losing again this weekend to the Jets, who will probably take their spot. They'll both be 5-5. No, they'll be 5-6, and then the Jets will be 5-5.
Yeah. Yeah, and folks, if you don't believe us, every team has their preseason prediction video out for you to be able to go back and double check and watch. You can see this is we were called haters, and all of a sudden it's like, well, you're a hater, but you're correct. Okay. So
Man,
what? You're still just a hater. And it's like, all right, well, you forgot the
man.
correct part this time, but
Right. Say I'm a truthful hater, if you want to
I'm
call
a
me
truth,
anything.
right, right is
Because the reason why I say it that way, Miss Casey, because they hate the truth.
right.
That's all it is.
And look, folks, we get it wrong sometimes. We called
We
we
do.
we were high on Chicago Bears. They turned into boo boo this year. We were
It's
really high
that
on the New York Giants, and they got us
man
kicked us where it hurt real
right in
early
the
on.
shin, baby.
Right? Said no, you're wrong.
But these Bengals and these
Right.
Bills,
Speaking of
I
wrong,
ain't missed. Mm.
right. Speaking of interesting games, we have the Seahawks playing the Rams.
And this is another win for the Seahawks on their way to their eventual NFC conference title game. Um, Seattle just got the makeup of a champion, dude. I'm telling you, like the defense is good. They're in every game except for when they got horribly blown out by the Ravens. But like I said, that's just a kind of Raven thing. You never know what you get with Baltimore because, like I said, they're the
Yeah.
most wild card team in the NFL because one Sunday, like I said, they're blowing people out. Then the next Sunday, they're losing to the Browns. So you know what I'm saying, Lo? I'm going with Seattle though. The Rams just don't have enough to recuperate this season, not enough to resuscitate it. Seattle's looking at the playoffs, Super Bowl aspirations. Gino, he's writing them off because he didn't write back in the first place.
Yeah, and this is another one of those must-win games for Seattle. You got to take care of this light work of NFC. You got to make sure you get there.
Got to make sure you get there, and the schedule and the
And
path couldn't be more wide
speak.
open. Like I said, you said what, Miss Casey? I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
Oh, I was just about to say they're light years ahead on talent. Is all I was going to say as far as the Seahawks.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you. I they should be this is an easy game for the Seahawks. Speaking of an interesting matchup, Sunday night football. We got to talk a little Sunday night football action. This game 3 weeks ago was 4 or 5 weeks ago was a terrible game. I'm a little bit better. It's surprising after Kirk Cousins went down, we still have competitive football to talk about here. That's the Vikings playing Denver Broncos.
And ladies and gentlemen, Minnesota wins this game. Josh Dobbs is showing people that he can play football, earning him a job somewhere, dude. If he's not a starter next year somewhere, I would want him as a backup in Kansas City at the least. Like, dude, we'll take him if nobody else want him. That's right, Whip. Let's go, Gino. That's what I'm talking about too. Um, but in this situation, Minnesota, I would still say is the better team. I believe Denver's defense is okay. They've been good over the last few games, and Russell's been okay. But I don't think that's enough to sustain them for the rest of the season. I believe they lose again right here. The buck stops here, as they say. You know the phrase. And Minnesota keeping their playoff hopes alive and aspirations, moving to 7-4. Possibly, mate. Well,
Right.
I don't know if they can get Kirk Cousins back by then, but wishful thinking. But at least they can still make some noise.
Yeah, and then Dobbs has been balling out, so that's definitely some noise. I'm right there with you. I'm picking the Vikings in this one. They're going to end that little Broncos little game streak, and the Broncos fans aren't going to know what to do. And Whip wanted to know if that's his favorite beer that he sees, and I would say yes, sir.
Oh man, right on time and refreshing.
Right. And now we got to talk about the game of the week. No, 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 no.
Grim
What
Dilla.
we're all here for, folks. They saved the best for last this week. We have the
Yes, they
Kansas
did.
City Chiefs, or excuse me, the Philadelphia Eagles going to play the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City.
The Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. We got a Super Bowl rematch, and not only is it a Super Bowl rematch, it's an organizational rematch from my boy Andy Reid, and it's an opportunity for him to what milestone would he get with this win? I believe he'd be
He
this
hits two
well
of
with the
them.
second team. It's like 100 something more. I can't even remember what it is. It's so many records this man is breaking. But either way, he makes another NFL milestone this weekend with a win. And let's not forget tradition with Andy Reid. Andy Reid coming off a bye is basically a win. So
Mm.
there's no doubt Kansas City is going to win this game. I was going to pick them regardless if it was a bye week or not. But since Andy Reid's been in Kansas City, the Eagles haven't beaten the Chiefs, and we've played them more than three times. For the folks, oh, they only played a handful. No, we've played them several times over the years, even dating back to Alex Smith. They can't get the job done. Andy has Philadelphia's number, literally, metaphorically. Hell, he wrote the number, so you know he got it. So there's that.
Yeah, yeah, and those milestones that he's getting, he will become the winningest head coach in Kansas City Chiefs history. He
Yes,
tied
sir.
that record last week, and that will make him the only coach that is the number one, has the most wins for two franchises.
For
So
two
he's done
franchise,
it.
yeah, that's what.
Yeah, so he's one of the most in Philly. He's one of the most in Kansas City. He's the only person to ever have that conversation.
And further solidifying himself in the argument as the greatest coach of all time, dude. Like, really, at this point, Bill Belichick's your only argument. And as of recently, you're just really pulling that out your ass from old stuff. I mean, no offense. I mean, it's all great. It's all the facts. It's on the books. Seven
Right.
championships ain't nothing to sneeze at. Or six of
It's,
them, I mean, ain't nothing to sneeze at.
it is the argument. That is their whole
But
argument at this point. Is the
this is
six.
Phil Jackson, Pat Riley, who's the best coach. You know what I mean? Like that's what they're arguing about. So it's Andy Reid though, all up and down, all down in this game against the Eagles. Andy Reid, the Chiefs. I think we'll see probably the most explosive Chiefs offense we've seen all year this game. I think this bye week was right on time. I think these people are getting enough time to really adjust. Pat's probably been on them during a time when they wasn't together on TV anyway, and getting these boys right. So we'll see what happens. It should be a great game, though.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think this is and it's also about that time of the year where Andy Reid starts opening up that playbook a little bit. And I'm excited to see it. We're going to see a little progression, I believe, through the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I'd like to see more out the running back room. We'll see what happens with that. We always want to see these receivers step up, and it gave my boy Justin Watson enough time to get more healthy. So I'm really looking forward to see what he can do down the end stretch of this season too, man. Because I really think that he's one of the brightest spots in this offense that we've got going on so far.
Mm. It'll be interesting to see how the game goes. It's going to be a dogfight. Look, this is a Monday night football game, if you ask me. This
Mm-hmm.
between Sunday. I mean, Sunday night football is a little weak, but the these primetime games, it's a pretty solid primetime week. If you look at like the Thursday night
Yeah,
game, the Sunday night, and Monday night game.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. I would say every primetime game will be a good one. Even the Denver game, like I said, because if since they're not as trash as they was, even though they're still the roaring trash fire that is the Denver Broncos, at least they're making it interesting. You
Right.
see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we'll really see what test their metal, so to speak, in that Minnesota game. But every primetime game is almost loaded this week. So good job NFL putting this thing together, and good job for the teams that are involved. Um, for being actually interested at this point in the season. So
Yeah. Yeah. Because now we're starting to really look at the playoff pictures. This is starting to become the time when we can really focus on the playoffs because we know Kansas City's going to make it. It's starting to look like Baltimore is definitely in. The Steelers are probably in. You know,
mhm.
the Dolphins are probably in. They're probably one in the East.
They're the most fringiest right now, but more than likely, yeah.
Yeah, then you got the Jags. It's really just coming down to one or two wild card spots left open, and
Hmm.
it's start getting that musical chair game going on.
I'm saying the way the North is playing, them top threes gonna soak it up. Everybody but the Bengals, because they won't be there. I can even see Cleveland going before for the Bengals. That
I
probably
could,
won't happen, but we'll see.
and it's wild to say, but that is somewhat actually true. That with that Browns defense, like that could actually, I could see them making a wild card spot before the Bengals, and
Hmm.
that doesn't even. We don't even like either of these teams, and preseason we wouldn't have quite said that much. You know what I mean? Like
No.
it's
Mm-mm.
wild how it's shooken out.
Oh, for sure, because Cleveland has four more wins than I projected them to have for the whole year already, and Cincinnati's they're pretty much right on track from where I said they was. Like I said, I don't think they're going to win any more of these games, but they're pretty much right on track for not making the playoffs like I thought they would. So we'll see.
Yeah, and I believe the Broncos are like two games ahead of where I thought. So it's
No,
making
one
them.
game ahead where you. Hold on, did you have a two win? Yeah, you had them at two wins. That's right.
I think I'm
Two
having it
more
too.
ahead. I say because they're four ahead
Yeah,
for me because
because
I had them not winning anything. So.
you're right. Hey, that's
Oh
shout
god,
out to the Broncos. You're making it more than zero.
man, man! Shout out to you, right? At least you got those four good dubs. Like I said, you won your
Yeah,
Super Bowl a few weeks ago. Be happy.
winning them regular season ones, and getting them down. Now in the NFC, what do you think the playoff picture is looking like there?
Oh well, Seattle's in my opinion already. Eagles, obviously. I would even go as far as to say that even though I'm expecting still a little bit more of a skid, San Fran will make it in, and um, the Cowboys so far. And really everything else is open after that. I mean,
Yeah,
Tampa Bay can still win the South. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how wide
nope,
open it is. So
still
that's the
open.
only mystery to me is which dumpster fire is coming out the South. But other than that, yeah,
Yeah,
dude, that you know your top four teams. I really believe, like I said, I still think Seattle is the second best team in the NFC, only right behind the Eagles, right before the Niners.
yeah, and I think the West, the NFC West, and the NFC East are both taking a wild card spot. Like I think they're
Mhm.
both gonna get two teams in. I think from the North, it's probably Detroit at this point. They're pretty locked in, pretty steady.
Minnesota only one game behind.
They're fighting hard. They might even still
You
sneak into
see,
the playoff.
and that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. This thing is still wide open. I don't feel like there's any clear cut besides in those two divisions. Well, maybe you can almost say Detroit's probably the front runner favorite. You could easily say that. I would agree with that for their division. You could say they're a front runner favorite. They're the most
Yeah,
popularized favorite right now. Anyway.
Yeah, I think it would take a little bit of a skid for them to lose that spot, but it's not impossible. Dobbs has been playing amazing. They call him the pocket scientist. He's
Hmm.
just doing whatever it takes to win, and it might get them out of that Kirk Cousins conversation
That's
next
true.
year.
You said it might get
Uh,
him what?
out of that Kirk Cousins conversation for keeping him there.
Oh, shoot, man, you might want to. I don't know, but I know there's a couple of teams he could go to. Shoot, he could even go to the Jets and probably elevate that team some. He could go. Uh, shoot, I trade him to the Raiders. There's a couple places where he could go and be better than what they got already. I would even go as far as to say as this whole Matt Stafford situation. I'd probably consider the Rams. Shoot,
I mean, that is Rams does seem like the move for it. That does all of a sudden have a
yeah.
little ring to it. It is kind of wild to think about. Oh my god!
Hmm. Like I said, that NFC, man, like I said, it's so fickle. Like I said, the South is pretty much up in the air. The North is going to come down to Detroit and Minnesota, like we pretty much said at the beginning of the year. Well, more tapering off into the beginning of the year after we
Right?
went on that Bears run. Like I said, the East more than likely is Philadelphia's. Then you'll get the Cowboys out of that. The South can be any one of them teams. And like I said, in the West, you got San Fran and Seattle. Like I said, I think Seattle wins the division. San Fran get a wild card spot. As a matter of fact, isn't Seattle already winning the division? Ain't they ahead? I think.
I'd
I'm
have
not
to.
sure. I have to look.
It's got. I think it's real close.
'Cause I know they're 6-3. What is they now? They 5-4 in or they 6-4 in 49ers?
Yeah,
Are they 6-4? 6-3. Yeah, they're 6-3. They'll be 6-4 after my boy Baker take them out this weekend. So it's
yeah,
already tied up. So they already tied for first. So yeah, I like it.
yeah. It'll be interesting to see. I definitely see two teams out of the West making it. And it's going to be the Hawks and the Niners. Pretty, one of them will win the West, obviously, but I think the other one still
Right.
makes the wild card. There's I just don't see anybody else in the East besides the Cowboys and the Eagles making a lot of noise. It would be nice if the Commanders could put something together, but they refuse to protect the quarterback, so that'll never happen.
Never happened. Good night. Oh, can you hear
Yeah,
me, Mr. Casey? This
yeah,
thing
we're
started
still good.
beeping on me.
It
Oh,
started
okay.
beeping on you. It
Started.
said,
Yeah.
"Hold on now, folks. You might miss the
It
goodbye."
said, yeah, saying that it's about time. My earbuds is telling me it's about time to wrap it up, folks. Uh, we appreciate y'all being here and rocking with us, especially with these picks. And if you got your own picks, of course, always feature them in the comments. We'll feature them here on the show. Um, if you're not picking the Chiefs this week, I don't know what else to tell you. Um, between them and, like I said, upset of the week. Uh, there's a couple. Well, there's a couple of these games though, but make sure when you're picking your picks this week that you consider everything that you heard here today, and make sure that you always pick against Buffalo. Always pick against Buffalo.
Smart move.
Oh man. Well, on behalf of half the kingdom here and the other kingdom that's in Florida right now with Mr. KC and the A13, like I said, we appreciate y'all for being here. These are your week 11 picks right there, solidified, signed, sealed, delivered. Good night, y'all.